quiet hum of global digital infrastructure suddenly sounds like a ticking clock. Deep within widely used code libraries, the invisible bedrock of our modern world, a crippling flaw has been unearthed. This vulnerability isn't minor. It is systemic, fatally undermining the security of millions of encryption keys across the globe. These compromised keys guard everything from your national ID chip to the core operations of major corporations. They are the digital seals of trust protecting government servers and critical software signatures worldwide. A single weakness in this code threatens entire fortresses of data protection. The nature of the exploit is terrifyingly elegant. An attacker needs nothing more than the key's public face. With that exposed signature, they can mathematically deduce the secret private portion, the key itself. Suddenly, the lock yields, and the vault is open to the enemy. This 5-year-old betrayal haunts us all, built into code certified by global standards since 2012. From German chipmaker Infineon, this insidious weakness has been generating weak keys, leaving entire digital empires vulnerable from the very moment they were born. 23. Picture it. A digital vault designed to hold the most sacred secrets of modern existence. Encryption keys that guard national identities and corporate fortunes. This supposed bedrock of security is compromised, riddled with a crippling flaw within a ubiquitous code library used across countless high-stakes systems. Pre-23, the danger isn't theoretical, it's immediate. An attacker needs only the publicly visible fragment of a key to unlock its entire private essence. With that piece of data, they gain the master key to impersonation, decryption, and digital infiltration itself. 423. This vulnerability means hackers can sneak malicious code directly into trusted software signatures or bypass the very defenses on a stolen computer meant to keep it safe. The betrayal is systemic, woven deep into the fabric of global digital trust. The core of the weakness is a fundamental violation of digital trust itself. Instead of remaining safely public, that key, the very fingerprint of identity in the digital realm, is now permeable to attack. With nothing more than this exposed public fragment, an attacker gains the power to calculate its secret twin, the private key. This single calculation unlocks a torrent of malicious capability against any system utilizing these flawed keys. This isn't just abstract theory. It's as a tangible threat that compromises the bedrock protections of modern computing. It allows impersonation, grants access to encrypted secrets, and effectively bypasses the safeguards built into trusted systems like TPM chips. The implications are staggering. Estonia's government was already sounding alarms about 750,000 compromised digital IDs. Now, industry behemoths, Microsoft, Google, Infineon, are confirming that this weakness taints the very foundations of global security infrastructure. The digital foundations of a modern nation are always under siege, and Estonia's sophisticated identity system is showing cracks. Last month, the Estonian government offered a veiled warning. Nearly 750,000 digital IDs issued since 2014 were exposed to threat. A race against time began immediately as officials mobilized resources to fortify their defenses against insidious attacks. This Monday, they delivered on that promise, announcing the critical closure of the ID card public key database, a massive defensive maneuver in the cyber war. The severity of this flaw was underscored by global tech titans. Microsoft, Google, and Infineon all sounded alarms simultaneously. Their warnings highlighted how deeply this weakness undermines the very security features built into trusted TPM products. Graham Steele, CEO of CryptoSense, cuts through the jargon to reveal the core betrayal. The fundamental law of public key cryptography is utterly shattered. This breach means digital signatures lose their undeniable proof, and encrypted data can no longer be held as secret. The foundation of digital trust, the bedrock upon which global finance and secure communication rests, is supposed to be immutable. But according to Graham Steele, this sacred property of public key cryptography has been utterly shattered in their testing protocols. This means that when you see a document stamped with someone's signature, the guarantee vanishes. You can no longer definitively prove who actually signed it. If sensitive data was encrypted under a known public key, you can no longer be certain only the intended recipient possesses the master decryption key. Imagine the courtroom drama. You deny the signature on that vital contract, and the system offers no proof, because theoretically, anyone could have derived the private key used to create it. The seal of authenticity is now merely a suggestion. The threat ripples outward far beyond simple data breaches. Petr Svenda warns this vulnerability casts a long shadow over democratic processes. Should a powerful actor posts just a handful of these compromised private keys online, imagine the ensuing chaos, the digital equivalent of an avalanche unleashed upon elections worldwide. The digital signature, that invisible seal of authenticity, crumbles under intense scrutiny. If your private key is compromised, you can walk into any courtroom and claim ignorance because the proof itself dissolves. Anyone could have forged your electronic handprint. Even when data is encrypted with someone's public key, offering a supposed fortress of secrecy, flaw leaves an insidious shadow lurking at the gate. You might send the most sensitive intelligence across the wire, only to doubt that truly only they hold the decryption key. The danger stretches far into the sterile halls of democracy itself. Though large-scale voter fraud may prove cumbersome, as Peter Svenda notes, the mere possibility, that convenient ammunition for conspiracy theorists, is profoundly unsettling. Imagine a single leaked private key sparking global distrust. This critical weakness is about to be unveiled at the ACM conference on November 2nd. The findings, born from collaboration between Masaryk University and others, will finally drop from their research paper, offering the world time to change those vulnerable keys before the attack becomes a devastating reality. Flaw itself burrows deep within the very code of trust, residing specifically in the Infineon RSA library version v1, 02, 0113. It's not a surface scratch. It's a fundamental weakness baked into the algorithm responsible for generating cryptographic keys. This danger is most acute when keys are birthed on specialized hardware, smart cards, and embedded devices, rather than on standard, easily compromised PCs. These secure little chips are where high-security operations rely, making this library's flaw an insidious threat to critical infrastructure. The implications stretch into the realm of democracy itself. Researcher Steele warns that even if large-scale voter fraud proves impractical, the mere possibility is enough to fuel chaos and baseless conspiracy theories. A theoretical ghost threatening to haunt election nights across vulnerable nations. Imagine it. A rogue actor, akin to shadow brokers, doesn't need an army. They just need to leak a handful of private keys online. The technical proof that this factorization attack works is ready, and the world must now brace for its imminent arrival at that major security conference. The discovery itself is enshrined in a paper titled The Return of Coppersmith's Attack, detailing the very mechanism of compromise. This critical revelation, a digital Achilles heel in widely used RSA moduli, is poised to drop before the eyes of the world at the esteemed ACM conference on computer communication security. This monumental vulnerability doesn't exist in a vacuum. It is embedded deep within the architecture of Infineon's foundational RSA library, version v1, 02, 0113. This flaw specifically resides within the algorithm responsible for generating those bedrock prime numbers that secure our digital lives. The danger compounds because this faulty code is baked into hardware itself, onto smart cards and TPMs manufactured by Infineon. These chips are sold to countless device makers, meaning this vulnerability infiltrates everything from banking kiosks to high-security government terminals worldwide. But the true scope of the threat becomes terrifyingly clear when you consider the math. A perfect 2048-bit key should laugh in the face of time, listing factorization for quadrillions of years. Instead, this tainted library shrinks that timeline down, a maximum lifespan of just 100 years, on average half that span. The vulnerability isn't lurking in some distant server room, but deep within the very silicon heart of trust itself. It resides specifically in Infineon's RSA library version v1, 020113, where a flawed algorithm governs the creation of digital keys. This flaw is particularly insidious because it allows for key generation not just on standard PCs, but inside rugged smart cards, the hardware meant to be impervious to attack. This compromised library infects a vast ecosystem. Infineon sells this core code to countless manufacturers who embed it into their own chips and trusted platform modules. From specialized government devices to consumer electronics, these vulnerable keys are everywhere, silently awaiting their moment of exposure across the global supply chain. Crucially, only keys generated using the RSA algorithm on these affected smart card or embedded systems carry this fatal digital weakness. The root cause lies in a performance optimization trick. By structuring the key's prime numbers in a specific way, Infineon inadvertently made them too easy to break down, a process known as factorization. Normally, securing a 2048-bit RSA key against modern computers should take quadrillions of years, effectively rendering it eternal security. But for these faulty keys, the clock speeds up dramatically. A vulnerable 2048-bit key collapses from geological time to a mere century, and the smaller 1024-bit keys crumble in just 3 months. With distributed computing power, this nightmare becomes reality. An average key can be shattered in less than 2 weeks for a fraction of the cost, a brutal demonstration that the system was never as secure as it claimed. The fundamental building blocks of digital trust, the prime numbers within the encryption library, have been constructed with a fatal flaw baked into their very DNA. Instead of being perfectly randomized, they are subtly biased, making them exquisitely susceptible to an attack known as factorization. The secret is waiting to be exposed. Standard RSA keys, that 2048-bit fortress should stand against time itself, demanding quadrillions of years for a general computer to crack. But these Infinian library secrets, they shatter that timeline. The worst case scenario drops from cosmic epochs down to a mere century. The vulnerability deepens with scale. An affected 1 of 24-bit key doesn't even require decades. It yields within 3 short months. And when the global computing power of the cloud is brought to bear, these timeframes become laughably brief. This massive computational assault, utilizing Coppersmith's attack, can conquer a vulnerable 2048-bit lock in just 17 days for under $50,000 on Amazon Web Service. Even more bizarrely, the theoretically superior 496-bit key proves to be weaker than its shorter counterpart, hinting at deeper mathematical secrets waiting to be unearthed. The sheer weight of the task is distributed across legions of digital minds, a parallel processing army. Using a cluster of 1,000 machines on Amazon Web Service, this monstrous factorization challenge, even for a worst-case 2048-bit key, demands no more than 17 days and a cool $40, $300 in computational tribute. For those smaller, compromised locks, the victory is swift. An affected 124-bit key can be cracked in just 45 agonizing minutes, costing only $76 to achieve. On average, across the entire vulnerable landscape, the required expenditure and time are halved, a significant reduction in the digital siege. Yet, even with this incredible acceleration, the field isn't entirely seeded. Keys like 3072-bit and 4096-bit remain stubbornly resistant, too massive for brute force to manage easily today. But a chilling anomaly exists. The theoretically superior 496-bit key is proving surprisingly vulnerable, hinting at deeper cracks in the system's foundation. The ultimate tactical advantage: the ability to triage the threat. Attackers can now subject any public key to an instantaneous diagnostic check, a mere millisecond of computation. This fingerprinting allows them to surgically target only those weak links, ensuring their vast resources are never wasted on cryptographic dead ends. The digital fortresses built by these cryptographic libraries are supposedly impregnable, yet flaws lurk deep within their foundation. While many keys stand tall, the mighty 3072-bit and the colossal 496-bit, a strange imbalance whispers of weakness. It is a shocking revelation that theoretically stronger, longer key may actually be weaker than its shorter counterpart, essentially falling prey to factorization should the researchers sharpen their tools even further. This disparity creates an irresistible hunting ground for adversaries. To conserve precious time at astronomical cost, attackers deploy a crucial screening mechanism, a lightning-fast vulnerability check. In less than 1 millisecond, they can determine if a public key is right for attack, achieving near-perfect accuracy with 0 false alarms or misses. This forensic fingerprinting allowed the researchers to strike gold almost immediately, uncovering vulnerable keys within identity cards from Estonia and Slovakia. Among them, 750,000 Estonian documents are now confirmed to carry these weak, yet detectable, digital signatures. The attack doesn't need a full assault, it only needs a whisper of verification. In less than 1 millisecond, an attacker can probe a public key, a digital calling card, to see if it harbors weakness. Swift tests boast near-perfect accuracy, practically 0 false positives and 0 terrifyingly missed negatives. This preliminary fingerprinting is the critical filter that ensures the hacker doesn't waste precious compute cycles on keys that are robust enough to withstand their onslaught. They target only those digital fingerprints screaming vulnerable. The researchers have already proven this method's lethal capability by examining electronic identity cards from 4 different nations. Astonishingly, but quickly flagged too, Estonia and Slovakia, both issuing documents secured by 2048-bit keys ripe for factorization. Estonia has admitted the scope of its compromise. A staggering 750,000 cards issued since 2014 are potentially weak. And when ours examined a specific e-residency card obtained back in 2015, that digital fingerprint confirmed the flaw with chilling certainty. The digital passport is supposed to be impregnable, a lock against the thieves and the skeptics. But in their meticulous examination of identity cards from 4 nations, 2 flags immediately flew red. Estonia and Slovakia were issuing keys that whispered secrets too loudly, keys based on fingerprints and alarmingly 48 bits long. In Tallinn, the vulnerability is concrete. A single card obtained by ours years ago screams betrayal to their systems. That specific e-residency key, examined under digital magnification, yields instantly to factorization, confirming that the supposed impenetrable fortress has a known weak point. The Estonian government, facing the fallout of this exposed ledger, moves with practiced speed against a ticking clock. They have sealed off the public database, but a deeper mandate is underway. Beginning in November, every single key must be rotated into a format safe from this digital assault. Even as Estonia scrambles to secure its borders, the shadows deepen across the rest of the world. While Slovakia's defenses remain unconfirmed, these initial findings suggest that the truly vulnerable population, the nations issuing these flawed keys, is far larger than just 2. The hunt has just begun. The digital rot isn't confined to Tallinn. Sweeping overhaul is mandated for the entire block. Estonian officials have announced a massive migration, an emergency rotation of all cryptographic keys commencing in November, a desperate bid to shed compromised vulnerabilities before they spread further. Meanwhile, Slovakia remains shrouded in bureaucratic ambiguity, its defense status hanging in the balance. With initial scans confirming 2 out of 4 nations harbor fingerprinted keys tainted by weakness, the relentless search is poised to uncover a much wider epidemic across Europe's ID card systems. Turning their gaze to silicon, researchers dive into the guts of personal computing itself. Across a sample set of 41 laptop models equipped with trusted platform modules, the alarming fingerprints of Infineon's vulnerable hardware surface in 10 distinct machines. This weakness is particularly venomous within TPM version 1, the specific architecture used by Microsoft's BitLocker encryption. This factorization means that any stolen device doesn't just lose data. Its protective digital lock can be cracked, allowing a hostile boot sequence to take over unchallenged. The digital landscape offers no safe harbor. Even the most trusted components carry a ticking time bomb. In their deep dive into hardware security, researchers sift through samples of 41 different laptop models, hunting for the microscopic flaw within the trusted platform modules themselves. A chilling tally reveals that 10 of these seemingly robust devices host a vulnerable chip manufactured by Infineon, a gateway to digital vulnerability. This flaw is worst among TPM version 1. 2 units, because the very keys used to guard Microsoft's BitLocker encryption are susceptible to factorization. Imagine stealing a hard drive only to find its vault cracked open. These compromised chips allow an attacker to bypass the lock and boot sequence with shocking ease. While version 2, 0 offers a reprieve from this specific key vulnerability, RSA keys generated for other functions remain tainted by the same underlying weakness. But the hunt doesn't stop at the hardware level. Sweeping across the vast expanse of the internet, researchers begin capturing fingerprints, digital signatures left behind by compromised security. They immediately uncover 447 such fingerprints, with a staggering 237 already flagged as factorizable, hidden in the vital submissions powering GitHub's most popular software packages. The infiltration proves far broader than just hardware. It infects communication itself. The team uncovers 2 892 PGP keys used for encrypted emails, and nearly 10% of them, 956 instances, are found to be vulnerable to this key-breaking attack. Whispers suggest these flaws originate from the ubiquitous YubiKey4, leaving critical email correspondence open to anyone skilled enough to exploit that faulty library on its silicon core. A digital deep dive reveals a sprawling network of compromised identities across the internet's infrastructure. Researchers scan the vast expanse, zeroing in on unique cryptographic fingerprints, digital signatures left behind by billions of transactions and connections. They find immediate proof of weakness, 447 distinct keys already marked for scrutiny. These aren't just random digital ghosts. Nearly all 237 of those found are factorizable, meaning their underlying mathematical secrets can be cracked with alarming speed. These compromised fingerprints are actively used to sign submissions on GitHub, underpinning some of the world's most vital software packages. The hunt continues into encrypted correspondence, uncovering a staggering 2,892 PGP keys dedicated to secure email. A significant majority of these, a shocking 956 instances, also yield their secrets to the factorization process. It appears the fault is widespread, potentially stemming from a specific piece of hardware, the YubiKey4. But the trail doesn't end there. The researchers isolate 15 TLS certificates, and an eerie pattern emerges. Almost every single one bears the string SCADA. This suggests a powerful adversary, possibly linked to industrial control systems, the very digital brains governing dams and power grids. Deep within the encrypted digital ether, a staggering horde of keys surfaces, 2,892 PGP keys locked down for secure email correspondence. Of this vast digital arsenal, nearly 1,956 can be cracked open by determined code. The fingerprints on these secrets point toward a single culprit, the ubiquitous YubiKey4. The researchers theorized that most of these vulnerable keys were forged using this very device, exploiting a known weakness within its internal cryptographic library. Yet, even as this flaw is exposed, other functions like U2F authentication remain stubbornly intact. The investigation pivots to the TLS certificates, revealing 15 more secrets ready for compromise. What strikes investigators immediately is the haunting recurrence of one specific phrase, SCADA. This string whispers a direct connection to industrial control systems, suggesting these keys guard data flowing from dams and power grids alike. This isn't an isolated glitch, it's a pattern of digital failure. This second major crypto breach in 4 years echoes past disasters, like the flawed Taiwanese ID system, a stark reminder that even when cryptography passes rigorous government scrutiny, fundamental math can still betray us. The forensic deep dive reveals something uncanny. Amongst the 15 compromised keys, nearly every single one carries the chilling string SCADA etched into its common name field. This immediately pivots our suspicion toward a colossal industrial player, an organization managing the very pulse of critical infrastructure. These aren't just random digital fingerprints. They are signatures tied to systems that command dams and power substations across vast territories. The implication is staggering. These flawed keys are likely safeguarding the heartbeat of essential services, making this vulnerability an attack on civilization itself. Further analysis uncovers a secret mathematical signature within each key's prime numbers, a characteristic lying stubbornly outside the expected boundaries of the faulty Infineon library. This suggests something far more sinister than simple software error. It points to a deliberate, undocumented tampering. This mirrors a nightmare from 4 years prior, a major flaw in Taiwan's certified digital ID system. While that breach was due to vendor misconfiguration, this new discovery forces us to question the very integrity of the security seals themselves. Stakes are astronomical, and the reputation of security itself hangs in the balance. We are witnessing another catastrophic cryptographic failure, a deep-seated vulnerability within a scheme that once passed the most rigorous gauntlet tests. This isn't just a minor bug. It's a systemic rot found beneath layers of official approval. Like its predecessor, this flaw lurks within the very heart of the digital lockbox, advertised as impenetrable to outside threats. The culprits are often hidden in plain sight, like the flawed Infineon library itself. This vulnerability allows attackers to slip past defenses designed by some of the world's sharpest minds and most exacting standards bodies. But the real danger, the researchers warn, lies not just in the flaw, but in the secrecy surrounding it, the closed-source design that prevents public scrutiny from catching these weaknesses sooner. The investigators themselves cast a shadow of doubt over the entire certification process. They whisper that perhaps the very need to keep secrets is what allowed this vulnerability to fester in the first place. This closed-source design, even when meticulously scrutinized by top experts, becomes a breeding ground for hidden dangers. The lack of public visibility acts like an invisible barrier, slowing down the discovery of these digital weaknesses and choking off external scrutiny. The terrifying implication is staggering. Because this flaw remained locked away, it has allowed compromised devices to flood the world unnoticed. Tens of millions of cryptographic keys, generated by Infineon's faulty library over 5 years, are now potentially sitting in active use. These affected RSA keys aren't merely weak, they are dangerously pliable. Many are practically ready for factorization. The call is urgent. Test your smart cards, revoke the compromised digital identities, and forge new keys before the bad actors find them. The veil of secrecy itself becomes a weapon against security. Because Infineon kept its design locked down and the source code hidden, even rigorous expert analysis couldn't guarantee immediate defense. This informational black box slows the inevitable discovery, allowing compromised devices to silently fester across the digital landscape while the vulnerability remains unknown. Across those 5 long years of commercial availability, this single flaw has spawned a cryptographic time bomb. Tens of millions of vulnerable RSA keys have been deployed into the world. These aren't just minor weaknesses. These are backdoors waiting for a sophisticated attacker to exploit them with relative ease. The good news offers a narrow lifeline. Keys generated by mainstream tools like OpenSSL or PGP remain safe from this specific contamination. But the race against time is already on, demanding immediate action from anyone relying on smart cards or embedded systems that unknowingly utilize the tainted library. The cleanup will be a colossal undertaking, digital triage operations stretching into months. While immediate priority must go to those keys already deemed easily crackable, the ultimate goal remains total eradication. Every single RSA key touched by this flawed design must eventually be swept away and replaced with something truly resilient. The sheer scope of the compromise is staggering. Researchers estimate that Infineon's flawed library has quietly spawned tens of millions of cryptographic keys over its 5 years on the market. Imagine those billions of transactions, those secure logins, all underpinned by mathematical secrets, tainted by a single design flaw. While some of these generated RSA keys are already practically broken, ready to be cracked with relatively simple computation, the danger extends far beyond that immediate threat. Even those that resist instant factorization possess an inherent vulnerability, falling short of the stringent standards dictated by federal mandates and basic security sense. This isn't a blanket disaster. Certain systems remain untouched. Keys generated through established protocols like OpenSSL or PGP-compliant programs stand resilient, while those utilizing elliptic curve cryptography bypass this specific digital Achilles heel entirely. The directive is clear. Test your keys using the researcher's specialized fingerprinting tool immediately. For any positive match, revoke those vulnerable credentials without hesitation and forge new ones, a desperate, vital act of cryptographic self-defense.